Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is, as I noted in what is increasingly becoming a seemingly never-ending parade of noodles and entries into this category. So this is supposed to be the fiery Korean noodle style. However, we don't see a name on here. We see super chili with fire for the U. And exclamation points for the chili. Yeah. So let's go to the back, see if we can find a manufacturer. We have, this looks like Chinese to me. We have, Bai Xiang. So Bai Xiang is a Chinese entry into, from Xinjiang. It's another one that I have done other videos. Products from them. So China's getting into the act with this whole thing as well, which is to be expected. And one of the bigger categories that I've seen here is this so-called creamy hot chicken or cheese hot chicken. It seems to be where a lot of people, I don't know if that's the best selling, but it seems to be where I see a lot of products in this subcategory, where companies just want to sort of insert themselves, I guess. So our sauce, we have chili powder. I don't see, there's food flavors. That could be our extract. But it's possible there's no extract even in this. That I don't know. Super chili I would expect, so clearly it's trying to go with that. It's trying to go for that market, for sure. So we have noodles, boiling water, cooked for 4 minutes. Sauce and vegetables. What? Wait. Hold the kitty here. Where's vegetables? So Lavera, so basically what's in the seasoning pack is the cream, or is it the cream? Maybe not. It looks like this is actually the... Wait, what is this? This is weird. MSG, yeah. Sugar, starch, edible salt. Okay. So we have what is basically a furikake here with sesame and laver. And where is... maybe it's not listed. I don't see where the creamy part was. Okay, so we'll figure it out here in a minute. We're going to do the same method as always. Put it into a bowl. And throw in the microwave for 4 minutes. And then we'll let it sit for 5 and come back. But before we do that, let's actually bust open the pack. There. Ironically, I got this at, maybe I didn't. Maybe I got this from the Chinese market. I forget, I went to both an H Mart and a Chinese market the same day. I can't remember which one I got this at. I think this one was actually at the H Mart, which is a Korean market. And the Chinese grocery store I used to go to has responded to H Mart coming into town by dramatically lowering their prices. Like, they're way less than H Mart is now. Okay, so are these the same noodles as in the other Bai Xiang that I got? Let's see, let's find out. They are. So I will say this. Bai Xiang's noodles, I think, are much, much better than... I shouldn't say much. They're better. It's not like the Samyang is bad. And the Paldo, it's not like they're bad either. But I really love these Chinese style of noodles. They're excellent. Okay, so we have our seasoning pack. This, I assume, is the cheese stuff. Maybe? And here's the sauce pack. This... Okay. All right, great. This is the sauce pack. Yeehaw. Huh. Well, we'll see how this goes. I still have one of the other Bai Xiangs. That combination was actually pretty good. Although, so I bought some Samyang Bulldog sauce in a bottle so I could try it with those noodles. And I still have some that I had. I don't know for sure if I'm going to need it or not, but this is curious. Well, we're not going to ever be able to find out with me just sitting here jacking my jaw speculating about. So, let us throw this into the microwave, and we will come right back after it's cooked for 4 minutes and sat for 5. All right, and we are back. Nice and cooked up noodles. Let's throw in the sauce. All right. Ooh, smells interesting. It actually kind of reminds me of the other Bai Xiang noodles that I had. You can find that, by the way, in the Spicy Noodles playlist, the same place that this one lives and breathes. And it's, I am actually kind of shocked how many entries that I have had. When I started that playlist, I really only expected maybe 20 or 30. And I think there's... I don't know how many there is at the time of this filming, but I think we're approaching maybe double that, triple that, something like that, quadruple, I don't know. There's just way more. And all I'm doing is noodles that are in this spicy category. It's just kind of wild that it has such endurance for that. And part of it, though, is because they're really good. And I think the ramen noodle market was ripe for a shakeup, because mostly it was dominated by Maruchan and Nissan, and I think Lipton tried that at one time as well, but it was mostly those two for a really, really long time that were ubiquitous. They're just everywhere. And then you had the sort of Korean emergence. They definitely came in at the right time, and with Samyang, and they just have overtaken everything. That is definitely, I think, I mean, I shouldn't say that. They definitely are not the least expensive option, I'll put it that way. But they have really overhauled the entire thing. A shakeup, like I said, that was well overdue. I mean, they're still salty. They're still not something that are probably the greatest things ever to be eating, but they are damn sure getting a bunch of mileage out of it. All right, let's get into it. I should have tried these prior to putting the seasoning in there. I should have tried it just with that clear packet. Oh. These are frankly not very good. Noodles themselves are great. Like I said, Bai Xiang does a great job with the noodles themselves. This flavoring, you know what this flavoring reminds me, the cream specifically, the creamy component. I was wondering how they were going to do that. The creamy component reminds me of using like a coffee creamer in this, and it sucks, and it's not good at all. Ooh. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I'm going to be able to slug all this down. Well, I guess I need to order more of the Samyang Bulldog in a bottle. I'll suffer through this for this video. Oh man, this is awful. Why would you do this? Like, did anyone actually taste this? Why? I mean, calling it carbonara, I think, is its own problem. But what are we doing here? Why are we? Yeah, it's like almost like a coffee creamer that they're using as a cream, and just ugh. Wow, that was just tremendously dumb. Man. What would possess you to do this? Like, I wonder if they just tried to make this as cheaply as possible, and nobody actually tested it before it went out. Or maybe it's for an American audience, and they're like, they won't care anyway. This is repulsive. Oh man, I'm suffering here. This is so disgusting. Okay, I'll give it a default 1 for heat. Why am I doing this? Flavors like a -80. There's no way. However, you know what? I'm done with this. We're good right there. So, you know, having said that about being designed for an American audience or an American market, but there's still like a lot of Chinese stuff, characters and stuff on. Maybe that's just what they have to do, though, to where it's produced or something. The Shanghai Machine Trading Company. Wow. You know what? I don't have a problem with China wanting to be part of this. They're a part of this world. They belong in it. They can be a part of things. No issue there. But you're still subject to making a quality product instead of just puking out any old thing that comes along. And I think this is closer to that second part of that. It is. This is not a good product. It is intensely disappointing. Like, if you're going to choose a creamer, fine. Why coffee creamer? Like, why would you even sort of allow that to be a reference? that could be made. And that is literally what we're talking about here. This is like, and I'm not talking just a regular coffee creamer. So back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, the coffee creamers were its own thing, but they had these packets, and it was this dried powder stuff that when we went out to restaurants on those rare occasions, that'd be something that my grandmothers would put in their coffees, and I smelled that enough times that it was instantly familiar, and I tasted it as well, just the creamer. I didn't like coffee. I still don't like coffee. Coffee is not for me. Anyway, so the first thing that we have a callback to in a spicy Korean noodle simulation thing is a callback to crappy powdered coffee creamers from the 70s and 80s. Why? Why would that ever go in your spicy noodles? Like, who would ever put that in there? And like the carbonara thing, I have my own issue with. They're calling something carbonara that really isn't. Just like they're calling a, what was the other one? The rosé that I did from Samyang. They're calling that a rosé and it really isn't. I get that you want to add some cheese and cream and stuff like that because, again, that I think would and does appeal to an American market, but this is so just cheap. This is not, the quality is not there, I guess, in terms of flavor. This just is not, like, I don't know why you would ever, what would possess you to buy this unless you were doing a video covering other spicy noodles. I do think, though, the texture, I love the texture of their noodles. The texture of their noodles is my favorite out of anybody making this type of product. And I think so I am going to try it with just the clear packet, and I'm going to toss that cream stuff in the trash. I've got furikake, I can add it myself. And I'll see if that is worth eating. As it stands, those two together, honestly, is not. It, heat-wise, like I said, it's a default one, which is generally kind of where the cream and cheese ones fall. It's definitely a taming down. It doesn't seem to have the ubiquitousness of that we would come to expect from an extract. So whatever they're using here it doesn't seem to be that. It could be in a powdered form. There's a lot of stuff that is left very vague on the ingredients, so I can't tell for sure. But this was probably the cheapest 5-pack of any of the noodles that you've seen so far in this series, depending on how much that you watch through. And here that is greatly reflected in the flavors. So, yeah, I would safely say that these are ones you can give a miss, unless you just want it for the noodles. And the noodles by themselves, like I said, just fantastic. It amazes me that they can do noodles that well, and the flavorings are just that far off. Definitely, they need to rethink how they're doing the cream portion of this product, because the cream is by far the worst part of that. The other, like I said, the other sauce smelled. I didn't try it by itself. I really should have, but it did sort of remind me of the other Bai Xiang noodle that I had that I liked a lot better. This one, I just think they need to go back to the drawing board. And if you want to produce something in this market, it has to. It doesn't necessarily have to be consistent with the heat, but it does need to be, I think, at least closely consistent with the flavor. And this is just too far away. Put a Chinese spin on it if you want. Awesome. I love that. As a food explorer, I'm all over that action. But, I mean, coffee creamer? Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Coffee creamer with furikake. Anyway, yeah, so I can't recommend this. This is not, this was not an enjoyable thing to experience. I'll just leave it right there. So that was the Bai Xiang Super Chili Creamy Hot Chicken Ramen. Now go forward in peace to serve the flame.